Next, if you live in or have ever visited Staplefords, you will be familiar with one of the oldest shops on Staplefords High Street. I am, of course, talking about Hyper. Sadly, the owners of Hyper, which has been trading for decades, has announced its closure when it goes up for auction on the 24th of November. The shop has been iconic for its bargains and the unusual Lucky Dip shopping experience, as well as being the hub of the community. Many stories have been shared since the announcement of the closure, and here to tell us more and what the future could hold for the site is Councillor Richard MacRae and Councillor David Grindell. Hello both. Thank you very much for joining us. First of all, let's start with you, David. Tell us a little bit about Hyper.
Yes, well, Hyper is it's Aladdin's cave, actually. They sell plants outside. It's very popular. Inside you can get paint, pens, tins of soup.
I mean, it really does sell everything, doesn't it?
Absolutely, absolute nails, scissors, anything. The thing about it is that Hyper, at one time when it was opened, people used to queue up in the streets.
They did.
Right, to actually get there, to get the bargains. Well, unfortunately, it's closing, as you know, and for the town and the people, a lot of people use it, but I don't think they use it so much as they used to. And it's a big area, a very big area inside. And I think that what happens to the future, if that's what you're asking, for the future, obviously it's going up for auction. I've seen how much they're looking for to start with, but there's a lot of land there, you know, and I'm not sure what's going to happen. It could be redone up, it could be knocked down, it could be rebuilt, nobody knows.
And Richard, what does this mean for Stapleford?
Well, I mean, it's been there for a long time. One of the things I wanted to say was one of the stories that people had shared on the internet that really jumped out. There's two sisters I know in Stapleford. One's called Kim, and she's got a sister, Tracy. I might have forgot them names, right? But and Kim commented that when they worked there many years ago, 43 and 45 years ago between them, one of them earned 25 pence an hour, and one of them was on 50p an hour. And she said if the boss caught them kissing the boys in the shop, they got docked an hour's worth of pay.
Oh,
so
no.
I think Kim's sister still owes them some money. But joking aside, you know, it has been a cracking shop. And if you look through the middle of the two shops, the one on the left used to be used to be Boots. It's been other things. The one on the right used to be Hooley's bike shop. Through the middle bit at the back, where it says trolleys, you can just see a bit there. That was actually the gatehouse in Stapleford Hall. And there was a big gate on the left. Stapleford Hall was absolutely massive. Sadly, that's another building that's gone. If you go inside Hyper, it's absolutely massive. You know, you go in one side, you come out the other. Times have changed. The staff that work in there, the two of them, they're retiring, and the owners are selling up. That's why. There's no other reason it's closing. You know, if I had the money, which I don't have, I'd turn it into an indoor market, because there's a need for things like that. There's a need for start-up businesses and that. Not everybody's got the money to take on a full-blown shop. So, you know, it's up for auction. And I hope whoever buys it, I would like to see the front changed a little bit, but keeping the building as it is, especially the back bit, because it's important. There's other people that would just say, knock it down and build something new. You know, a couple of shops at the front, some flats above. It's up to whoever buys it, isn't it? You know, so I'm sure it's a prime location. Someone will snap it up.
And it is one of those shops that's just absolutely full of bargains. I remember going into Hyper and buying an enormous thing of chocolate cereal for 20p. People at the moment need bargains more than ever. Obviously, the cost of living crisis. What do you think this will mean as a loss to Stapleford?
Well, the thing is, it hasn't sold stuff like that for quite a while. It's all your plants and flowers and that. We've got some other great shops in Stapleford. We've got a market on a Thursday. Thursday's the busiest day on the high street. So people can come down to the market and get some bargains. People can go to bargain buys and get some bargains. You've also got the Stapleford Plant Shop Plus. So there's lots of independent businesses in Stapleford that still trading, still selling some bargains. And I've said it before when I've come on here, come shopping in Stapleford. You don't need to go other areas. I won't just pick on Beeston again because that's not fair. But people need to come to Stapleford, put their hand in the pocket, as I've said, spend some money down there. So, and I'm sure whoever buys, you know, whoever gets this at the auction, the lucky person, they're going to bring it back into use. They've got to, because it's such a prime location on the high street. And I think I think everyone, sure, they'll join me in saying thank you to the people that's worked there for the many years.
Absolutely.
Thank you to the bargains, because sometimes you got home with a tin and you didn't even know what was in it. So,
I
you know.
remember those days.
Yeah.
And just finally, really quickly, David, obviously Stapleford at the moment, it's on a tram route, it's got really good connections to the M1. What do you hope for the site?
Well, as I said earlier, I say it's up to the person who actually buys it. Once we know who the person is, then obviously we should be asking him or her exactly what their proposals are, because the building is shaped at the front, so that the building would need to come out.
Yeah.
So obviously there need to be planning permission for anything like that. It is a big site.
It is.
And it must be used, in my opinion, to the best advantage for the residents first, and hope that people will actually use whatever is going to be open there.
We're going to have to watch and wait, aren't we? And hopefully we'll catch up with you again about it soon. Thank you for joining us.